Okay, I say hello. Welcome, Patience Club members. I see somebody's on the line. Say hello in the chat box. That tells me that it's working, number one, because it's never working for me. But I think I've managed to change the settings so that it's working. Hi, Anita. Hey, Lucy and Nancy. Good to see you guys. Welcome to this Patience Club event. And good evening if you're coming to us on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast, you're still in the afternoon, but welcome. We have a couple of minutes before we're going to start. So definitely say hello in the chat box. Hold on. I need to pull up the chat box. Hi, Anita. Good to see you. And also just let me know if you can hear me and everything. But we're gonna wait another minute because we did have a number of other signups. So we'll wait till they start. And we're not even at the 7 o'clock hour. But what's going on in your mini neck of the woods, kids? What's going on? Say hello in the chat box and say what's going on. Love to hear from you guys. Come on. Because I'm going to do a little housekeeping and talk about what's going on in my end of the mini world. But I want to know what's going on in your end before we begin. All right, we have a couple of minutes. A couple of more folks are joining. Welcome to this Patience Club event. It's good to see everybody. I see more participants than people. Oh, digging through boxes of mini stuff as I attempt to organize my craft room. Well, be careful because as soon as you organize your craft room, that means you have more room for more stuff. So it's a trade-off, but that's good that you're getting through stuff because I think like when you clear up your workspace, it clears your mind and it definitely that helps to, bring new energy in, which means you can create more, create better, all that. So I'm all for organizing your craft space and your craft room. I know when I'm working on a project, everything just builds up and I don't ever clear the space because I'm afraid to touch it because it might mess up my mental. But every once in a while, I do clear everything while I'm working on a project and boom, it just, you feel so, all right, we're going to go ahead and start because we are at the 7 o'clock hour. And I do like to start these things on time, but welcome. I'm glad everybody is here. Say hello in the chat box. So just a couple of housekeeping before we bring up our special guest for this D. Thomas Miniatures Patrons Club. And thank you, by the way. Thank you all for your continued support and encouragement and contributions to the Patrons Club, because this really does help me do what I do and encourages me to continue doing what I'm doing and help support my efforts. But mostly it's sort of a positive feedback that, this is right and continue doing what you're doing. So I have actually a couple of Meet the Miniaturists that I just finished filming up over the last few weeks. One is with Robin Davis. She is from My Mini Bots. She's got a company called Robin Davis Studio. She does a lot of animation, but she works mostly with reclaimed materials. And her medium is photography, but she does a lot of these mini robots. And I really wanted to have her on because I wanted to sort of inspire folks to see things differently, so that they can incorporate it into their traditional miniature world. So definitely check that out. And also, I had Roxanne Brathwaite on, and she was a former Best in Miniature contestant, but she also has this awesome website that she has, or Instagram account that she runs. Just a lot of interior design work and room boxes, but all of her room boxes have a special twist to them based on latest social trends and really talking about social issues of the day. So there really is a great twist around that. So definitely check those out on my YouTube channel. And also, and finally, actually two more things. Don't forget the Chicago Tom Bishop show is coming up next month. It's March coming up. No, this is February. It's March. It's in April. I don't know, March or April, but definitely it's coming up. So check it out. And then finally, and really importantly, is the Small is Beautiful exhibition has arrived in New York City. I went to the opening earlier this week. It's awesome. It is 130 pieces, 35 international artists, all mediums of miniatures are represented in this show. It started in Paris, it moved to London, now it's in New York City. It is really a wonderful, more commercial experience. It's really the first time outside of the TV reality shows that we've been seeing around miniatures happening in this other kind of way, an experience. So definitely check that out. Small is Beautiful is the name of the exhibition. It's in New York City. So with that, I would like to welcome the guys who just joined. I am really excited to bring up our special guest, Charlene Trimeloni from the Queen Patricia. So we're going to bring up her video so we can see her and say hello. Hello. We're going to do a little switcheroony. Going to do a little switcheroony and bring on Charlene. So Charlene is a miniature collector. She's got an extensive collection of doll houses and miniatures and art dolls. And we're going to get to see her collection. We're going to get to meet Charlene. We're going to talk about dolls versus not dolls, sort of towards the end. I really want this to be inspiration for you guys to think outside the traditional dollhouse world and bring that, incorporating that into everything you do within miniatures. So with that, hi Charlene, and welcome. Thank you for joining. How are you?
Hi Darren.
Yay! So good to see you in front of your massive one part of many rooms that you have dollhouses and miniatures. But why don't we talk first tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into dolls, into this doll and dollhouse world, and talk about maybe some of your early inspirations.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Darren. And thanks to my daughter, Alyssa, who's helping behind the scenes this evening. So my experience with miniatures, as I was telling Darren a couple weeks back, is definitely family oriented. So I was pulled into miniatures by my mom and her sisters, and I've been doing miniatures over 20 years and kind of waxed and waned. Since 2016, it's really picked up. And I think that's due to social media and several other reasons. But we've really done so much the last, 6 years or so.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that. What do you mean by that things have picked up? Your involvement in miniatures, a little bit of everything, because you also have a club. Talk about your club.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a walking tour. And so my first dollhouse I built 20 years ago, and that was in 2001. And that was my introduction to miniatures. And then we built a couple houses after that. So we're going to enter Trimeloni Lane.
Oh, I love that.
So we welcome those many at heart. And I used that phrase for a while. And then in 2019, we wanted to start our own name club. And I know that's the name we came up with, is Mini at Heart.
I love it.
This is one of our larger doll spaces within my home. And so it's a fictitious Trimeloni lane, named after me and my home. And so we're going to step into that space, and I'll show you the first dollhouse I built in 2001.
Can you just explain what NAME is? Maybe folks don't know what the NAME organization is.
So NAME is the National Association of Miniature Enthusiasts, and they've been around. They just celebrated their 50th year. And so they have clubs and they have conferences, and they have increased their online presence as well. They have a co-site now, which is called, and so they have offerings to both members and non-members. And we've been a member of NAME for many years. And when you go to a lot of the shows, you'll see representation of both NAME and IGMA. And they are both nonprofit, and they'll be benefited by a lot of the auctions and things at some of the bigger shows.
Right.
So,
and your club that you run is an offshoot of NAME. Explain how that works.
So it is a NAME club.
The NAME club.
Are geographically located. Ours is a little more diverse because we do have a little virtual presence. So you only need a small group to actually start a NAME club. But our members, I'm located in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, a small town. And my closest brick and mortar shop that we frequent is in Pittsburgh. And so it's about 80 miles from me. So we have some family members that are club members, but our club has expanded to include a couple in Pittsburgh, a real good friend in Iowa, 2 friends in Connecticut, West Virginia. So we have a little bit of a diverse group, and we meet at least monthly, and often that's just in a virtual presence.
Right.
We have going group text where we talk about our projects and share photos. And we meet live anytime we can, but it's really fun.
Yeah. Has the virtual part, did that happen as a result of COVID, or were you meeting virtually before COVID?
It was due to COVID. When we did start the club, we had associated with a local art group. And so we were using their facilities to physically meet. And then it was winter. It was winter time in Pennsylvania. And it was, COVID then hit. And so we had to, skip the in live meeting. So we did go to virtual. We just enjoy, again, that presence and that, connection.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's awesome. So let's see that room. Now, this is the first of 2 rooms we're actually going to see. So this is your dollhouse room. And then there is a doll room. For those of you who got to stay with us. She's got it all, you guys.
Again, this is our first dollhouse.
Oh.
This is the classic Victoria's Farmhouse by Real Good Toys. This was my first house in 2001. I did very little modification to it upon the build. In 2019, I did kind of remodel, because everyone remodels every 20 years or so. So we remodeled a little bit, updated the shingles on it, accented more of the heartwork and stuff. But so this is Victoria's Farmhouse. Again, today we're going to talk about dolls, and she is furnished with resin dolls, which are very affordable. She also features just one of our mini me's, which we will talk of those when we start our doll collection. This is actually done in replica of my oldest daughter.
Oh.
So that's her mini me.
The mini me's. And that's 12 scale. That looks like it's 12 scale.
Yes.
So it's a 3D printed piece.
Yes. This is similar, Darren, to what you had done with your doppel.
The doppel. Right. Wow. That's awesome.
So what is really cool about her is she, in real life, has a tattoo of her dog on her thigh.
Wow. It picked up the dog tattoo? Wow.
So mini me as well. So it's really cool.
It's great.
So this is our Victoria's Farmhouse. The next house is actually my daughter's when she was young. This was our second build, and we purchased it for her birthday. And this is by Dora Craft. So these are the stronger, sturdier doll houses. And so this is the Alexandria.
Wow. So are these finished pieces? Like, do you are done? Or do you still, or are you still finding pieces for it?
So we have, I plexiglass them when I really feel that they are done. But so I have started that process. This little one here was actually donated to me, and I redid it. And this was my COVID project. So this is Butterfly Cottage. And so I did a lot, all this fancy floral. One of the things that you may notice if you really scrutinize my collection, I'm not always to scale, kind of love. So again, a lot of the floral arrangements might be a little bit large, but it's just a really cute house. It's one of them that I battery did. Prior to that, I did all tape wiring. Just learning how to do round wiring.
So you're saying you moved over to battery in that house?
In that little one, yes. So then this is just a little project we did. This was a club project. We made our own little farmers markets.
Aw, very sweet.
And so that was like just a little fall thing that we had done.
Love it. I love it.
This, now you're going to catch a glimpse of the Queen Patricia. So the Queen Patricia, really our masterpiece. We started a website based upon her, and we actually named our website queenpatricia.com, and it features all of our doll houses. So in all, you asked me, Darren, if I'm done, not done.
Yeah.
30 houses, in the form of kits or like bought on Marketplace that needs remodel. So it's a combination. I have like at least 30 some, structures, but the Queen Patricia to my right.
Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness.
So she takes up the span of our room. She's 10 feet long. She is the Real Good Toys Queen Anne kit. And I purchased a second one and mirrored it.
Oh my goodness.
So
You know,
then,
I didn't realize that when we first talked.
so this is your Queen Anne.
Yes.
That
Yes.
created the foyer in between a two-story.
Oh, oh my goodness.
It's actually an entire shop front from
Oh,
Mini Canada.
uh-huh.
And then this is the original Queen Patricia. This is
Wow. Oh,
Queen.
so the plan was not to make it this monstrosity. I mean, you started with one and then you were like, let's go
Yes.
big.
So that's my family, and that's how they trouble, because my mom and her sisters are kit bashers.
Uh-huh.
So where I have here
Yeah.
my Victoria's farmhouse, all theirs are two farmhouses together.
I love that.
So when I got the Queen Anne, which was the largest kit, they were all excited, and I said, no. I said, I'm gonna. And they said, no, you're not gonna expand it. I said, oh yeah, I'm gonna expand.
Can you pull back one more time? I love how you created that centerpiece that just brings both houses together.
Yes.
It
And that
really just looks wonderful.
created that around the two-story stair that you'll see when we show the back.
Oh,
So I had to build it around the stair. I purchased the stair in the front from Miniland.
oh, so we're gonna get to see the back or the
Yeah.
inside. Okay,
Yes.
awesome.
So the story of this house, we have I all to glass, and so all the window panes are glass. So this is Queen Patricia. It was established in 1918, so created a little story.
Oh, that's
It's
lovely.
bed and breakfast
Oh, so it's a bed and breakfast.
bouquet and boutique. So there's
Ah,
spaces inside, and we were able to incorporate so much.
yeah, I
So
love that idea because you really can tell so many stories with a bed and breakfast. Well, you can tell a lot of stories with family, but still, yeah.
we have plexiglass at the back, and I know that causes like a lot of reflection.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move through the first floor, turn back to the second floor and third. Our queen is 4 feet high.
Wow.
So Alyssa's gonna follow through, and we're just going to show you a little glimpse of each room. I love big open spaces. So the kitchen is actually 1/2 of a Queen Anne, which probably is 20 some inches in width.
So you kit bashed that. That was not the original intent to have that.
And not realizing when you purchase the kit, every board is cut to go one. So we had to have my father recut many of the boards because I wanted it mirrored. I didn't want it to be one side to side.
Right. Wow.
The
Yeah, you don't get a kitchen that size in a store-bought, dollhouse for sure.
Here's our dining, and they're set up for a big feast in there. If you read the story on my website, we have 3 different generations of dolls within. We have flappers and Edwardian, because those are just the styles that I really liked. So all of these dolls in there are flappers, and they are from Pela Raganesi from Italy.
Oh, okay.
I asked her to do the dolls.
Okay, so that now we're moving into the territory of what I would call the art doll, right?
Yeah.
These are handcrafted, customized dolls.
Yes. These
In
are
12 scale.
Yeah, there's very little resin within the Queen Patricia. They're a little bit upscaled. This one here, I've not identified the artist on this one.
Yeah.
The back either. The one in the back was my first Chicago purchase. And then the one to the left here, the little girl is Debbie Dixon Paver from South Africa.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Down here are Martha Watson dolls, and I buy those at the Philadelphia show. And then if you can aim down there, Alyssa, the 3 that are down in the foyer are actually in my story, like the ones who would have this huge house built for them. So they're like the original owners.
Oh, okay. Great.
So it's kind of
Wait, so this is the foyer. This is the foyer that you created.
Yeah.
This is not part of the kit.
Yes.
Oh, this is the 2-story with a double staircase. I'm getting it now. Wow.
Yeah. And we do all the flooring ourselves. So we cut all the little pieces,
Wow.
did the patterns for the flooring.
Mhm. Is this all round wire, did you say?
This is all tape.
Oh, this is all tape.
I'm
Okay.
just learning round. And just as Cindy's Queen Anne is tape, so is mine.
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar?
No, say that again.
You're familiar with Cindy's Queen Anne.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Hers is round wire, right?
No, hers is tape. I've heard her.
Hers is tape. Hers is
Yeah,
tape.
same as mine.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So this space is the indoor pool.
Oh my goodness. Because every bed and breakfast needs to have an indoor pool.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. The chandeliers are lovely too. Where are those from?
So those are out of Canada, and I commissioned Honey, and she did the Chicago show last year for the first time.
Oh,
And
really?
Yes, and she's doing New Kensington this December, and she'll be at Chicago again. She had an eBay site, and I found her, and she's just lovely.
Yeah, they're really nice.
It's a lot of my customized lighting.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
This is a little, this is the sand bridge
Uh-huh.
parlor.
It's like your
This-
nautical theme.
Yes. This space here has two more of our flappers, and there's a television here to the right, and it's functional. So I didn't want to have the sound there distracting, but
Yeah.
that's functional. And then this lady here is actually the guest at the bed and breakfast, and she's dreaming of these centuries before.
Uh-huh.
And that's why some of the things are real and some are in her dreams that we're seeing.
Right. Oh, I love it.
Little picture on the wall in here. This is actually Patricia, and that is how the house got its name, because this portion of the dollhouse belonged to Patricia Anderson Riley, and she passed away before she finished it. So we acquired it from her daughter and named the whole thing Queen Patricia. So that's part of it.
Oh, so that's where the name comes from.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So then here's a little girl's room.
Sweet.
Here's the bakery.
Gotta feed everybody.
This is my friend Vossi doll.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. We love her. I love
Yes,
her work.
she did a class for name. It's
Mhm.
actually one of Pete's candlesticks with him. And so that was an online name convention that they
Oh, wow.
held.
Nice.
We're going to come over. Here is our boutique.
Dress shop. Right.
Yeah.
Fancy. Very fancy. How many rooms in total have we seen?
Well, there's probably between 18 and 20, because again, I kept very large spaces instead of making them small.
Right.
This next one is a bath. This is part of the Peacock Suite. These are the last two areas of the house completed.
Mhm.
And our house is featured in American Miniaturist magazine. So we were
Aw.
8 different issues, and these were the last. These dolls within the Peacock Suite are my first ones that I ever made myself.
So we're going to talk about that.
Yes, so these are Dana Burton dolls, and there are 2 in the master suite, and there
That
is-
dress bed is awesome. Where did
Yep.
that come from?
Yes, so that was a collaboration. So it's Susan Silk from the UK.
Oh, wow.
She shipped out to Connecticut.
Uh-huh.
And well, actually, she shipped it to Carol in the UK, who I bought the bed from. They all shipped everything to Connecticut, and she redressed it for me and shipped it to me. And that's to Diana. She's my painter. She created the peacocks on the mirror on the old Best Pack piece, kind of
Oh, I
invisible.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So she did a lot of really neat things. She did my curtains in there, and we love them. They're like so soft.
Beautiful. Very nice.
So then this is the last story. We have like a little cubby back way in the back. I don't know if you can view. There's a little sewing room back there and a nook.
Oh, yep.
And then you have the little girl's room. These pieces are all hand painted. All my furniture's again by Diana.
Okay. Lovely.
That's the back of like a big play bed she has.
Hmm.
This space here goes back to the modern. So this If you're in your B&B, this is your game room. And a lot of pieces that are best pack, it's kind of like limited to, like the bar and things you can't find as much.
Yeah, it looks like the earlier best pack, which it's very hard to find.
Yeah. And then I incorporated the 2 conservatory spaces and kind of created that where they would be recessed.
Lovely. And is the conservatory space part of the kit?
No.
Oh, you built that on?
Yeah.
Oh, on both sides, no less. Because symmetry is so important.
So
Wow.
here's our nursery. This, again, very fictitious. So if you read our story on the nursery, these are all the animals that the children would be hearing about in their storybooks.
That's lovely. That's just awesome. So you feel like this is complete. It has to be complete now. There's just so much going on.
Yes.
Yeah. And you have to get to 30 more.
Yeah, well.
See, you're busy. So talk to us a little bit about the doll making. And we're going to see the doll room, right? I mean, that was the other big part of this is, I want folks to see that there are, you're into the traditional dollhouse miniatures, but you also are very involved in more of the traditional doll world. And most of the time, these two worlds don't necessarily meet. And I want to talk about some of the similarities, some of the differences and why, and inspire folks to look at this other world because there's always something to discover and be inspired by. So we're taking a little walk now, aren't we? Going to the doll room. I didn't know. Did you say you were gonna close the video for this part, or we can actually? It's up to you. However you want to do it.
So we're going to share 2 of the pieces that were donated to our club before, one downstairs, one upstairs. And so this to my right is the one piece. This was featured in the Miniature Gazette, which is named issue. And so this is a church from Germany. This was donated to us, so it belongs to the club. And it is a Catholic church. It is modeled after a live church in the Bavarian Alps.
Wow.
And this is musical as well. And it is filled with Erna Meyer dolls. In the collection that was donated to us, we have a total of 64 of these dolls, which were custom made for the project. And Erna Meyer dolls are still being manufactured in Germany. And that was a family-run company that's been handed down within the generations. So you can actually look them up online too and learn of those. They're really neat.
Now, is that considered 12 scale or is that just off, its own scale?
So this is made by a German artist. His name is Rudolf Schalassi, and his furnishings were identifiable with a red gold foil emblem on the back. The furnishings were often made to what comes out to be about a 1/10 scale.
1/10.
And the dolls are actually a little smaller than 1/12. They work together, but they're about 4 inches in height when your classic, lady doll would be like 5.5 inches at 1/12.
Right.
So about like between 4 and 5 inches. So they're a little bit smaller.
But people were smaller back in the 1700s, so it makes sense. They really were. It was shorter. That's gorgeous. That is just gorgeous. Oh my goodness. It goes on. It goes on forever.
This is super tall. This is like 60 inches in height. It's like 5 feet tall, this castle.
That is just gorgeous. And humongous.
We're going to turn it on just so you get an appreciation of the musical. There's a pipe organ on the back and all the sound comes out of the organ.
That chandelier is incredible. What is it made of? What is that chandelier made of?
So it's like an antique kind of Christmas lighting in which all of the wires are exposed. They are so sensitive. And this whole castle and the piece upstairs you'll see was originally wood-based, and then all the plaster accents are added.
Oh, so and what is the material of all the sconces and the?
It's like a plaster.
It's like a plaster. Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
It would be if you had a huge like piping thing to like cake decorate, and
Yeah.
he, went with it, with the plaster.
So it's all sculpted with plaster. What would you say? Wow. Just wow is all I have to say. That's incredible. I've never seen anything like that.
We're going to walk past. I have a San Franciscan here that actually I worked on for about 6 months, which I had never anticipated taking so long, but it's really cute. And I did battery inside of that one and ended up refurbishing the entire inside and out. So it's actually sitting in my kitchen. I just think it's just cute.
Yeah,
So,
why not? If you've got the room, and I mean, you put it right in front of you. Bring you joy.
Yeah. So we're
Yeah.
going to, and we'll open back up in a second in the doll room.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Does anybody have any questions? I know we have a comment from Benny. Hey, Benny. Benny says, wow. I agree. Totally agree. This is like a real treat. This is just a treat to see this collection. I just can't tell you. But yeah, we're going to now get to see the doll room because everybody needs a doll room. And there it is.
Okay,
So yeah, so you have this dollhouse miniature life, and now you have this traditional doll life.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So please share this room.
Prior to 2001, when we went small with miniatures, we purchased full-size porcelain dolls. And so back then, my motto was the bigger the better. Some of the largest ones that were marketed back then. Rusty was one of the artists. This is her Mediterranean. This doll is super heavy. She is solid, and she's over 4 foot tall. And then I have a lot of other artists. We used to shop on HSN and sit up at night and purchase these dolls. In addition to porcelain ones, we have a couple vinyl ones that were nostalgic to when I was a small child, and my aunts and my mom continued to purchase the dolls from the 50s and 40s when they were young. So this is where our collection started before we went into miniatures.
Wow. Okay, so it started with traditional dolls, then you moved into miniatures.
Yes.
Right. Wow.
And then if you're familiar with the line of Blythe dolls, they're very common right now.
Yes.
And so we do have one of her, and I just wanted to show her because I think she's so cool. And if you're familiar, they're the ones that the eyes change.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Oh my God, that's wild. Oh my God. I love the big head, the big eyes, and the tiny hands.
And these are ball jointed dolls.
Uh-huh.
So of course, again, it's whimsical because again, their heads are large. A lot of people there's many social groups that are doing these Blythe dolls.
Yeah.
And, doing their faces over and everything.
Yeah, I mean, the doll world, it's my understanding that the doll world that we're looking at right now is way bigger than the dollhouse miniature world. There are way more people, enthusiasts into what we're seeing now versus the dollhouse miniatures. But yeah, I've heard that they do wild things. Talk a little bit about, because you shared the art dolls, right? In the Queen Patricia. What are some of the similarities? What are the differences between these dolls that you would call out?
Well, they're still our favorite artists, whether we're dealing with a full-size doll or a miniature doll.
Mm-hmm. A full-size doll versus a miniature. Say that again. What do you mean?
They're still favorite artists. Like, so back when we collected these, we were very meticulous about it. We kept all the boxing. We kept albums of the dolls and their certificates of authenticity. We actually
as a collector, as a collector of traditional dolls versus art dolls, the methods are the same. You want to hold on to all the information you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
To kind of, establish their value and things. And the dolls, these are poured of porcelain, and molds are only used so much. And then the smaller the lot number, the more valuable the doll. And so all of them are mostly have insignias on the back of their necks or on the back of the back of the dolls. And so you would always hone in on the number of which it poured. So that always was important if you would get a small pour number.
Yeah. So you are also a maker of dolls. We need to tell folks you are a collector, but you also are a maker. And I think I read you mentioned that you at any given you've made over 20 dolls at this point. So let's talk a little bit about that and a little bit about the process.
So now we're coming into Minnie at Heart's studio.
Oh, this is your workspace. Oh,
this is our
you have a dream house. Look at that. That is so great. So this is where you work.
This is the second piece. That light it for a moment. This is the second piece by Rudolph Selassie.
Oh
and
my goodness.
It is musical and a little loud as well.
Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. Ah, I don't see tracks. Are they on tracks?
They are on little circles that are drilled down into the wood.
And they just spin.
Yes. So we have
I love the chandeliers. Oh my goodness. I am like loving that.
This is representative of the castle that Walt Disney had actually tailored his castles after as well.
Oh.
King Ludwig VII's castles that was built back in Germany.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I don't see any plexi on that. Is that usually plexiglass? Because we did have a question about where do you get your plexi and how do you fit it to the houses? I mean, do you just custom order them?
I use a vendor and I make a pattern. And when I can afford to, I have them cut it. Otherwise, we have actually purchased like 4x8 foot sheets.
Oh, wow.
At the Home Depots and, the Lowe's and those manufacturing stores.
Wow. And then you cut them down yourself?
Yeah, this has not been plexied. As an estate piece, it was not. I did plexi the glass at the church, so I don't know if you were able to notice that it was plexied, but we did most recently plexi that, and then this castle would be next to be plexed.
Right. Awesome.
So our collections, this is the Bay Manor. This is a Walmer house. This is very large, very heavy. When Walmer discontinued making doll houses, they sold their things to Real Good Toys, but it seems that Real Good Toys did not pick up on this one.
Okay.
So are rare to find. So we have that house. I'm an appreciator of Braun houses. So I have two of Paul Bronder's houses, the one behind me here and the one to the right.
Oh my, look at that.
Out of Mount Lebanon, which is a Pittsburgh, PA region.
Wow.
Then I have one down in front here, my aunt custom finished for me. We have a log house that I'm working on as a flip. And
oh my goodness.
It's kind of like the space, beyond our workspace.
Yeah. Well, you need to have you need to have inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, perfect. So you're perfectly set up because I do want to talk about the dolls.
Yes. So you said that I made dolls, and I haven't counted them, Darren, but this doll here is something that I'm super proud of. So this is
and she spins.
Yeah.
And she's pregnant.
And she's pregnant, and so I actually molded this Fimo clay and baked her baby bump. So that was super exciting because I thought I wanted to make a doll expecting.
Oh my, she's beautiful.
Aphrodite because she had 14 children. So the odds of her being expecting at any given time.
Oh my goodness.
So I bought.
Yeah, go ahead.
I bought the porcelain pieces and I assembled her. I created her clothing, and one thing that I really enjoy about her dress as well is that it's not pattern pieced. It was actually just kind of made to fit her, like her worked.
Can you talk about? You say you You acquired the porcelain pieces because it
Yeah.
confuses me when I walk into the Chicago show and there's that humongous
Yeah.
stand to the right and there are all these pieces. What
Yeah.
do people do with it? And now, my goodness, you're telling us what people do with it.
This is what they do with it. So what I do is I buy a kit.
Uh-huh.
That's how we started out. We would buy a doll kit. And I have a lot of Dana Burton's kits. This is one. So this is Pandora. We're going to work through her kits so you'll see what that process would be like.
Uh-huh.
So Pandora came with her bust, 2 legs, and 2 arms. I sign my dolls. That's one thing I wanted to mention because so often we see folks out on the site that are trying to find the artist who made their dolls, and they're unable to find out who made them. So I write on them.
Yeah.
Dana credit, I give Dana credit because it was her, doll kit.
Her mold, right.
Yeah. Well, and she credits who her molds are from as well. So she'll often credit the molder. I credit Dana, and then I just say so I'm making her in 2023.
Right. Yeah. I love it. I mean, because I want to tie this back to traditional dollhouse miniatures because there are similarities in how people work with as makers, whether we're kit bashing or buying parts and we're assembling them or making them our own. So there's a lot of that happening here.
Everyone has their own skill set. These, when I purchased them, they are pre-painted. All their facial features, any rouge, anything like that is pre-painted. I do paint nails.
Right.
They're not yet painted. But other than that, I've not myself painted. You can use China paints and different paints. I would probably, I'm not sure if I go to that step next, whether I'll invest in China paints or if I'll try my acrylics. But for now, I've not painted them. I buy them pre-painted. When you buy a kit such as Pandora, it comes with, this is what your finished product will look like. So it comes with your fabric.
Yeah.
And it comes with your materials to do your petticoat. It will come with assorted trims.
Right. They give you all of the elements. What is in that little box on the right by the side there? What is that?
Right here.
Is that jewelry?
This is the icing on the cake.
I spotted that. Please share that. That thing was calling out to me, was saying, please pick me up.
This is my Christmas present, Darren.
Please share that because I'm spotting something beautiful.
Yes.
So it's jewelry.
This is what I'm going to do, a Christmas doll.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's for another piece.
Yes.
Oh, that's lovely.
This is my cake, icing on the cake.
Oh, wow.
I do my other jewelry myself and the little hair pieces and things.
Yeah.
With a lot of the little things like from Bindles.
Yeah. I love her. She's beautiful. Wait, so now what's the plan for her? When you decide to do a project, do you have a place in mind where they're going to go, or does that come later on? What comes first?
It's what I like first, and they're a little bit eclectic, my collection. Some of them have homes per se because they are eclectic. Like I have 2 Tudor dolls, and I have a Tudor doll house at this point in time, but I just love
you will.
Yeah.
And you may. You don't. Right.
So once you have your bust, you're going to assemble the doll with like pipe cleaners. So you'll have an assortment of those.
Right.
And so you're going to do their undergarments and then their dresses. Then you move to their jewelry. And lastly, you wig the doll. So I spent time learning that process. So Dana Burton had a wigging school, which I thought was 6 sessions, like a course. It turned into 3 full sessions. It went on for over 6 months.
Oh, wow.
I learned techniques in making curls and different things like that. So wigging dolls is a lot of fun as well. You can purchase dolls that are already wigged.
So you wigged this pregnant doll?
Yes.
What's her name again? I'm sorry. I should give her the respect she deserves. Aphrodite.
And she actually was one of my projects. Her wig was one of my wigging school projects.
So she did not come with a wig. She did not come with hair. You put the hair on.
Yes, she came looking like this.
Okay. And
Yes.
then and wow. And what is Benny wants to know what is the hair made of?
Yes, so I'm going to show that. So an option to wigging would be such as this doll I'm showing. This is a doll from Pat Bolt, and she has the formed porcelain hair.
Right.
So that option as well. And this was a lot of the antique dolls were made in this fashion. So what you purchase commonly to make hair out of for these dolls is called viscose. It is super fine, very, very soft.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
And it's not attached to anything.
Nope.
And it's not styled. It's just material.
This would make a lot of dolls. So this is like a classic color. This is chocolate. And
brunette.
Yeah. So I purchased these from Lillian Bass, and she does a really nice job with her viscose. And in addition to these classic colors, you can be very eclectic or modern possibly, and vary to some really crazy colors.
Oh, wow. I love that. So can you dye them if you wanted to?
I'm not sure. I think you could.
I'm just curious.
This one's called Picnic. I have one that's a blue, that's kind of like blue jeans. It's called Jeans. I have a really crazy teal.
So how long did it take you to do the wig for Aphrodite? Because that's beautiful. Can we go back to her?
Thank you. So it takes often a couple days. You work with glue.
Oh, glue.
So doing the clothing or the wigs, I work with Alina's classic glue, her white glue. So you have to allow dry times. And
so the hair is glued into place.
Yes.
Curled and glued.
Well, so you do not need to be a seamstress to do this.
Interesting.
This is the most I do, is a little bit of a basting stitch possibly with gathering some of the fabrics. But other than that, I'm not a seamstress. I'm not using a machine. We are cutting the pieces with patterns. This is fabric that I'm working with now that I just love, little frayed. So then you cut them out and you glue the pieces of fabric together.
Right. That's
the
awesome.
Wing is a big process. This is an example of all the different steps in Pandora's wig. So this is not yet done, but Dana has really expanded her pictorial with providing pictures of how to do her wig.
Right. Oh my goodness. That's just awesome. Wow. Oh my goodness. Does anybody have any other questions? This is just such a treat. Okay. What's happening with her?
Is a work in progress.
Yep.
And what is really cool about her, this was to be our graduation project. We were assigned to make her an additional headpiece so that her hair would be very, very high. And she's actually modeling a ship in her hair.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
3D printed, but it's still a work in progress. So I don't have decided yet, but I think
that was going to be my next question. What is next for you? So that's one of the projects that you're working on. Do you have multiple projects going on at any given time? You do. I mean, you showed us a dollhouse. That's the log cabin.
Yes, I have a dollhouse downstairs that I have gutted, and I'm working on that. That's down utilizing the basement space. These are some of the other dolls that I have done. This is Morgana.
Right.
So just finished her the other week.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Our Dana Burton. I have one that might be near and dear to your heart, Darren. This was my first doll.
Jeannie, that's great. She's great. That's fantastic. Aw. So if you had to give anyone advice who's sort of like eyeballing this world of dolls and art dolls, how to make the move over, because there is that age-old question, to doll or not to doll, to have a doll in your scene or not. And there are some people who are passionate about not having them, who are just as passionate about having them. So what would you say to some folks who'd be like, you know what, that's not for me, but like to encourage them? I mean, visually, this is just super encouraging for me. But what would you say to them? Like what to get them over to your side?
My side. There are many pieces that I have as well that I don't foresee putting dolls in. So it all depends on, what project I'm working on. I have an appreciation for the historical homes that are made, using hand tools and things like that, and done very gorgeously, and
Yeah.
that don't want to contaminate that scene with a doll that's going to throw it off, or those ones that you really feel like it's a live home until you see that little thing that throws it off.
Yeah.
But then others, like, so if you were to take my mom to a museum, and I've been to, Kentucky and some of the other, gorgeous museums, my mom would hone in on the doll despite the house, and she'd
Right.
say, oh, what a beautiful doll. So
Right.
so everybody is different.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I really like about, what you do and how you do it, because you can see both sides and you can appreciate both sides. So that just makes me more inspired to just, to see it all. So this has just been incredibly wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your talents and your treasures and your miniatures and your viewpoint. It's just been so wonderful. I'm so glad we got to see your miniature world. And as we wrap this up, does anybody have any final questions as we let Charlene and Alyssa behind the scenes? Thank you very much for all your hard work. This has been great. It's been so good. Everything has been just so wonderful. Thank you so much. So yeah, as we wrap this up, I'll say thank you guys, and thank you for joining this special Patrons Club. Thank you for all your continued support as we say goodnight and bye. So Anita says, thank you. How inspiring. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, guys, have a great rest of your night. Bye.